30 years back, 30 years back, when Sahasrara was open, I found darkness all over. People were so ignorant. They had no awareness what they have to find. Of course, I found they wanted to find something that was unknown. But they did not know what was unknown, what they have to find. And they were extremely ignorant people about themselves and about their surroundings and about the aim of their life. I didn't know how to start the topic with them. When Sahasrara was opened, I thought of trying self-realization only on one lady. She was an old lady, and there was another lady who also started Kava. This old lady got a realization, and then the another lady was much younger. She told me that she gets fits and she gets possessed. Oh my God. I said, how will I give her realization? But somehow she got cured very fast. And she also got her realization. It's a very unknown knowledge. Also, human beings in their ego do not want to accept that they are not yet complete, that they have to have their realization. Also, their style of life was such that they had no time for themselves. I found it very difficult to convince people that you must take your self-realization, because they thought it is something imaginary. It is very far-fetched. And they only believed in gurus who would say, all right, do this much of ritual, karma kand. That's all. And they were doing all kinds of rituals with the kind guidance of their gurus, without knowing that you have to first know yourself, which is said by all the great incarnations, all the saints, clearly. It is not that it was only my idea that people should get their self-realization, but it was the idea of all those people. They said one after another for centuries that seek yourself. Even Christ said, know thyself. Muhammad Sahib said the same. Nanak Sahib said the same. But nobody tried to know that these rituals are not the end of life. They will not serve the purpose, and that you have to have realization. So those two ladies only got realization. And with that, I thought, let's go to the seashore. And about 30 people came with me. And they were talking in a very funny manner as to how they can get self-realization. They don't deserve it. They have not been very good people, all kinds of things, condemning themselves. And in that lot, I got about 12 people altogether. inclusive of these two ladies who got realization. This is a sign that the movement of knowing yourself is very, very slow. And people don't understand why should they know themselves. I was quite disappointed because nobody understood me. But one day it so happened that in one of the programs, one lady came. She was possessed. And she started talking in Sanskrit language. She was just a maid servant. And everybody was surprised. And she said, "You don't know who she is." And then she started describing me from the Saundarya Lahari. I was wondering what's the matter with this lady. Like a man she spoke. Her voice was like a man. People may believe it or not, but she was very possessed. And then they started asking her. And then they came and asked me whether what she's saying is true. I said, you should find out yourself. Because those days people were such that if you tell them anything like that, they would turn their faces. Only the kind of false gurus who would say, all right, you give me 5 rupees. They'll be very happy that you can purchase the guru now. You don't have to bother about anything. You don't have to do anything. So with that, gradually, it started working out. And I remember that these people who got realization asked me that, Mother, you allow us to do Durga Puja. Durga Puja was regarded as something very difficult. And the Brahmins were normally not ready to do it because they were not realized souls. So they used to get into fits and into all kinds of problems. So they called the Brahmins, 7 of them, and told them, you just don't worry. Nothing will happen to you because now you are facing the reality. It's not some sort of a Murti Puja or anything. It's a human being. They were quite frightened. They came down. But something happened to them. With great confidence, they started all the mantras, everything. And the vibration started flowing everywhere. Even we were very close to the sea. I found the sea was roaring. But people didn't understand. Except for these 7 people, they said nothing happened to us. We did everything so well. I think that was the first miracle also. See, the trouble with human mind at this level or at this time is that they have too much of self-importance. And they think no end of themselves. So already they think we are great. What is there to know ourselves? We know ourselves very well. So the basic seeking power is humility. If you think you know everything, you cannot humble down and you cannot seek. Even if you seek, they don't want to follow anybody's path. They say, we have our own path, we'll follow our own path. We'll do whatever we want to do. And like this, I faced many people in different countries who just came to listen to my lecture, that's all. But they wouldn't take realization. And some of them did take realization, did. They got it, but they got it lost. Somehow, this was such a funny story for me that I am giving them realization. I am taking no money for it, nothing. I used to travel on my own. But despite that, why is it that the people don't realize the value of self-realization? Then a gentleman who got realization in the first lot, he told me, today is a consumer society, as they call it, whatever it is, that unless and until you take money from them, they will never value it. Let them feel that we have paid for it, for our realization. So at the gate only you should keep somebody to take money, otherwise they will not take it. I said, but you cannot sell it, it's falsehood. You cannot sell self-realization to people. He said, then, you see, you won't be successful. With other gurus, this is the main thing, is that they just accept the money. Even they tell them, people bring so much money, do this much, there is a fees. And that's how only the ego is satisfied and people take to false people. This falsehood, they may realize later on, because they suffer a lot with all kinds of physical, mental problems. But by that time, they are gone cases. Now this Sahasrara has not been yet described in any one of the books, though they have talked about it. In our ancient books in India also, they have talked about Sahasrara, but nobody has described it except that it has 1,000 petals. At least if they had mentioned something about it, would have been easier for me to show that, see, this is written in the book. Because people are like that. It has to be written in some book, and that only they accept. It's a very difficult situation. Because nobody had given a collective realization. So nobody had written to that extent except for one or two people who wrote clearly about Kundalini. But I wouldn't say it was so clear because it was all in poetry. So people would sing the songs, but they would not understand. But I was thinking how these people who are lost, here and there under some sort of a seeking, what will happen to them? And how will I be able to give them self-realization? Experiences were so horrid, but doesn't matter. I went on and on and on, and I worked it out. Of course, we met some people who were also very cruel and nasty, who troubled me and troubled Sahaja-yogis. All these things should have really dampened my enthusiasm. But on the contrary, I started thinking why people are like this. Then I realized one thing, that we cannot have the whole world to get self-realization. This is the last judgment. At this time, people have to decide what is the most important thing. They have to know themselves and understand what they have got. It's not just having a big number that will help us, but really solid Sahaja-yogis. Then I found there were people who got cured of many diseases, but most of them got lost. Some of them who were drug addicts gave up drug addiction. Drinking, they gave up. Smoking, they gave up. I never said a word that you give up this or give up that. I knew once the Kundalini rises, they will automatically give up. And it happened. And that's how people became so clean, so beautiful, and started enjoying their life. But nobody would believe them. When they went round and talked to people, they say, "Oh, you are gone mad." They couldn't believe how they have stopped drinking, how they are not smoking. They say, "We want to drink." And what is this? See, so the identification I found of these people were mostly with the very loose type of enjoyment. They enjoyed very loose type of thing, which had nothing to do with the spirit. Gradually, of course, it started working out. But still, I must say that we can't expect in this Kali Yuga to have billions and billions of people in Sahaja Yoga. Though it's my desire, it's your desire, and you want them to get their self-realization, by which so many good things can happen. Firstly, your physical self improves. Many people have been cured. Christ cured only 21 people. I don't know how many thousands have been cured with Sahaja Yoga. Also, there's another very big problem with human beings, that they read all kinds of books and they have no clear-cut idea as to what they should find. What is their seeking? It's a very big problem. And whatever is in one book, they'll try to follow that. I mean, like they are shifting type of people. They shift from one to another. And then progress in Sahaja Yoga is much more difficult. Very difficult. Because if you are going on one path and you start shifting from one to another, you may go back. But in that they find it is their freedom. Actually, without realization, you don't have your freedom of anything. Freedom is that in which you know what you are. You know what you are capable of. In the freedom, you are the one who should receive all the blessings. If these blessings are not there, then you are not free. There's something wrong somewhere in your own life. Because once you get realization, you become absolutely free people. Free means your own spirit guides you. The spirit, as you know, is the reflection of the divine, the God Almighty. If everybody has the same reflection and is awakened, then in the awareness, it works as if they know what is right and what is wrong, what is constructive and what is destructive. It is not some sort of a false satisfaction that you have, but in reality you feel the reality, and that is what it has to happen. The first thing in Sahaja Yoga that you get the experience of feeling the spanda, the cool breeze on your fingertips. Without the experience, you should not believe in it. That means a new dimension has come now in your nerves, that you can feel the system which has been not known to you. Sympathetic nervous system was there, but you never knew how it is working. The knowledge about yourself was so poor. But after realization, suddenly the whole thing got enlightened. Suddenly you started feeling it, the newness among us. Still, sometimes you have to fight your ego. You have to get over your ignorance of things. Because realization gives you absolute knowledge. Absolute knowledge. It cannot be challenged. It's single, ekameva satya. And when you get that knowledge, then you can tally it also. You can find out if it is correct or not. This is something that has happened to all of you. And you have already got those vibrations with which you can feel. For example, there may be some dissatisfied souls with Sahaja Yoga. But you can find out on vibrations who are those people, what are they doing. On vibrations you can make out if those people have reached that state of reality or not. You can make out if these people who are trying to oppose you or trying to tell you something else, how far are they? On your fingertips you know. This is what is Qiyamah, about which Muhammad Sahib has said. The other day, I must tell you an experience where there was one fellow who came from the television, known as Star. And he started asking me very funny questions, which had no relevance. His name was Abbas, so I said, Abbas Mia, you are wasting your time and my time. Will you come to the right questions? So he said, I am against all fundamentalism. But I am not fundamentalist. How do you know I am that or not? So he said, I am trying to find out. All right. I said, you put your hands towards me. Now Muhammad Sahib has said, at the time of Qiyamah, your hands will speak. And you'll be amazed. Immediately he started feeling cool breeze on his hand. He said, what's happening to me? I said, that's what it is. No use arguing, no use talking about it, no use inquiring. Just see yourself the experience. He just got so stunned. And after that, whatever he talked to me never published. So what I'm saying, if the people reach the truth, and they know this is the truth, nothing can change if they have reached the truth, I'm saying. You can see in the life of all the great people that they think this is the truth, not by just reading or not by just believing, but as an experience. That on their central nervous system, they can feel the truth, then it is impossible to change them. Like you can see a seed becomes a tree, then you cannot make the tree into a seed. Seed is a seed. But when the seed changes into a tree, then you cannot bring it back to the seed. It may create more seeds, it's different. So in the same way, once you have got your realization, and once you have become one with the divine, then there is no question of you going down unless you yourself want to go down. It's very, very remarkable how you get this property, how you get this ability and this capability, and after that you don't lose it. Of course, first you must grow, and for that you have to meditate. But this meditation, once you do it, the whole being itself gets so enlightened and so beautiful that you don't want to change it. You want to be there and enjoy it forever. But of course you want to give it to others, because you see you are enjoying so much. Like on the street you find somebody starving and you are very full, then you feel like giving food to that person. In the same way you see in this world, people are madly seeking, running up and down, doing all kinds of things. They want to tell them. They may believe or may not believe. They may try to sort of absolutely deny you, defy, also defile you. They can do anything. But you know for definite that you are on the right path, you are on the right state of mind, which is a sahaja state. In Sanskrit it is called sahaja avastha. Sahaja avastha. In sahaja avastha, you do not react. You do not react. You just see and appreciate. Now see, I came, I saw this beautiful, such an idea of Sahasrara, all the chakras, they have crossed over, gone up there, and from there they have. Very good expression. But any other person would say, oh, this color combination is not good. Why? Why did they use this? Why don't they use something else? Like that, you see, finding faults with others. And this finding fault actually comes from your brain, which is not yet enlightened. You cannot enjoy anything because you react. All the time you go on reacting. If somebody says something nice, still you are reacting. If somebody said something bad, of course you are reacting. No question. So, for us to understand that we are not free to react, we are not that cheap to react. We are on a very high pedestal. What is our job is to enjoy. Enjoy everything. And that enjoyment is the blessing of the divine. Even you can enjoy the turmoil, the torture, everything you can enjoy if you see the point that nothing can happen to your spirit, which is the real light. Whatever you may suffer, whatever you may think is troubling you, actually this silent light of the spirit makes you absolutely, perfectly joyous. And you give joy to others. You don't design it, you don't plan it, how to give joy, but you just automatically give joy. And this giving joy is also effortless, surge, because you are in the sahaja state. In the sahaja state, you just see things. It's a drama, you feel. It's a different styles, different types, and you just see and watch and get the joy out of it. It is not important to say, I like this, I like that. No. That I which likes is nothing but ego and keeps you out of the enjoyment which is reality, which is real. Everything in this world that you find is troublesome, if you see from another angle, from a sahajasthiti, you won't feel the troubles. But that higher life should be there. That higher standard should be built in within you. The other day I had a meeting with bureaucrats, and I told them, I know the pay is less. You may think that others get much more pay. They're having much more facilities. But there's one way you can really enjoy your work. If you have patriotism, Desha Bhakti, if you have patriotism for your country, no amount of sacrifice will satisfy you. You want to give everything. And you can go through all kinds of so-called dearth and depressive states without even feeling anything about it. And at the same time, your feelings become very deep. For example, you are traveling and suddenly you find somebody who is sick. You can feel it on your vibration that this person is sick. And immediately your sympathy and your love flows to that person. You try to help that person. If possible, you try to even cure that person. Just like that, your whole being becomes like an ocean which absorbs all the rivers and all kinds of watery things, whatever it is, within its abdomen, I should say. It just takes all that is there. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't trouble him. He's like an overpowering person with his love. He doesn't show his power. He doesn't bother about his self-importance. If somebody tries to insult you, all right. What is there, the insult part of it? And such people who have reached that Sahajavastha are the greatest creators of art, of music, of great thoughts. And that's why these survive. So many people write, but it goes out. So many people create, but nobody bothers. But those who are realized soul, whatever they create is of eternal nature, because they are now in the ocean of eternity. They are in the ocean of purity, where there is no idea at all of hurting anyone or troubling anyone. Such a protection is there for them. They cannot be harmed. Because after all, you are entered into the kingdom of God. So who can dare harm you or trouble you? Such a prosperity I have seen among Sahajogis, and such a generosity that they have, and such understanding about things. I don't have to give lectures now, don't do this and don't do that. No, no more. And those who are not yet already matured in Sahaja should try to mature. And those who are not matured and are troubling, don't worry about it. What can they? You should have pity. You should really have pity for such people that they are so immature. Today is something great I feel, because 30 years I've been running up and down everywhere, and I've been able to gather so many people. There are so many Sahajogis, see, and also all over the world. This is just a wee bit of that. So this is something was to happen, has been already described, has been prophesied by people that such and such thing will happen, that so many people will get their self-realization. Unbelievable it was, of course, but as now you see, how sweet is the feeling that we are all one. There's no quarrel, no fight, no bad ideas, and nobody likes cheap things. They want to have something that is pleasing and has a quality of understanding. I've seen people becoming poets, writing beautiful poetry. I've seen people becoming orators. Also, I've seen people becoming very good organizers. But one thing is very important, is the humility. I said in the beginning, and again I would say, what will appeal to people is your humility. You should be a humble person, not think that you are something special, or not think that you are some sort of a, I should say, self-important person. Once you think that you are important, then you are not part and parcel of the whole. If my one hand starts thinking I am important, it's stupid. How can one hand be important? All hands are needed, everything is needed, legs are needed. How can one part be so important? If you start thinking like that anywhere in your journey of Sahaja Yoga, then I must say you are not in the Sahaja Avastha. So my own effort was to take you into that beautiful arena of Sahaja, where you will be absolutely one with yourself, one with the nature, one with all the people who are around you, with your own country and countries. Everywhere, the whole atmosphere, as they say, the whole Brahmand becomes part and parcel of you, and you are not separated from that. Then we can say the echoes. They call Ninad. The echoes of your being, of your life, can be easily seen, not in material advancement or in any other kind of a thing, but in the spiritual area, which is the highest. Or everywhere, in every country, there have been people of that quality, and till today they are all remembered. In the same way, you all will be representing a very great knowledge about reality in your life, in your creation, or in your working. In every way you can do it. The only thing that now we have to do is to decide how many people we are going to give realization. What we can do for realization. What should we do? This is the only thing, if you go on with your complete emancipation, will be done. You'll be surprised, it's like climbing a big, you can say, a mountain. But when you have reached to the peak, you can see everything very well, and you feel so satisfied that you are at the peak. So that climbing part, even some of you have to do it. It is all right. There's no problem. You can do it. You must have respect for yourself, love yourself, and understanding that you have to reach the peak of the mountain. And once you have reached the peak of the mountain, you will know you are there. And then you start showering all your love, affection, and everything that flows down the mountain. That is the life for you. It's the greatest type of life. Forget all other people, politicians and other people who were supposed to be great. Forget them. You are much higher than that, because you are already chiseled like a diamond with Sahaj style of life, which is very satisfying and also which is very much absolutely peace-giving. It gives you joy, it gives you peace, it gives you capabilities, it gives you so many things that you cannot count. Like the 1,000 petals of your Sahasrara, which are enlightened. God knows what all you can have with this. This is such a tremendous area you are in, the 1,000 petals. And from there people have gained all the knowledge about science, knowledge about all the great discoveries are from there. So this is what one has to realize, one's own esteem. Self-esteem is different from self-importance. You should have self-esteem. With that you will become humble. You will become very loving because you are capable of love. And it is not forced on. I agree that from the ocean, the clouds rise and then they give rain and all that. But it is in the cycle of life they are doing it. They are not conscious of it. They don't think they are doing something great because they are in the cycle. You are out of the cycle and still you are doing work without any feeling of self-importance. You are doing because you have to do it. Another cycle, not the natural cycle, but another cycle of awareness where you are aware as to what you are doing. At the same time, you are very humble. You are very loving. You are very kind. You don't shout. You don't beat anyone. You don't say anything harsh to anyone. And you can manage the most difficult person. If somebody tries to be funny, you can always raise the Kundalini and be satisfied with it. If you secretly raise the Kundalini, the other person is finished. If you cannot raise it, then forget it. Forget it, he is a difficult person, it's a stone. Now in the stone, what can you do? You cannot make it flow the love and the dignity, all these qualities. It is not possible from a stone-hearted person. So forget it, that's not your job. That's not your job at all. So I would request that first of all, we should see how much humble we are. We have to be very humble. And that is your decoration, that is your beauty. So you have your love, which is pure, without any lust or greed. You love others only because you are in love. And then secondly, you are blessed with peace. You are absolutely at peace with yourself. And you will be amazed with peace, wisdom will come into. You will be regarded as the wisest man, wisest woman, because you are at peace with yourself. Only in peace you can discover the truth. You can discover every solution that you want. You become very, very wise and sensible person, outstandingly great than others. You are not like common general people. Then you have joy. Joy is something I cannot express in words, but still, joy, as I have told you many a times, it is singular. It is not unhappiness or happiness. It is just joy. Just you enjoy. You enjoy everything, every company, every incident, every scene, every happening in your life, you know how to enjoy it. See, just joy has a great capacity. Once I remember I had gone with my son-in-law and daughter to see some historical place, and we had to climb a lot. We were climbing for about 3 hours. So naturally we all got tired. And there was a little resting place made of marble. So we said, let's spread out ourselves here. So when I spread it out, you see, they were so much saying, why should we have come here of all the things, this, all that, they were grudging. Then suddenly, this is the joy point. Suddenly I saw the carvings of elephants. So I said, can you see these elephants? Everybody's tail is differently made. They said, Mummy, how could you see the elephants' tails? We are so tired. I said, you also see, you just see that. Because this joy, what it shifts your mind from nonsense. You see, you just say it's all nonsense. You just shift your mind. This is the way you get joy. And goes to the thing that will joy you. Supposing there's a person who is quite boring, then what happens? You just see the humor behind boring, how a person bores you. And what you learn out of it is never bore anyone. So this joy has a speciality, that it teaches you the essence of joy of everything. If it's say a bad film, all right, still you enjoy because you see how bad it is. Supposing, of course, if it's a good film, then you can always see. But you do not go on with your mind how to criticize. This criticism business goes out of your mind. So what happens? Your mind shifts immediately from something that's ridiculous to something interesting in the same thing. So you don't criticize and you don't feel bad about it. Sometimes it so happens that people are amazed that how I tolerate such people. Well, I don't tolerate, I am not paying any attention, whatever the person may be doing. If you are of that nature, that's we call as a condition where you are absolutely in the Turiya state. So Kabira has said, Jab mast hue phir kya bole? When I have gone into that state of joy, why should I say anything? It is like that, a temperament which you have to understand and respect it. That is within you, but respect it. Do not compare it with others. Others are not at your level. So you are at a different level and you just try to enjoy it. Never feel that you are something higher or greater. No, never feel. What you should feel, that thankfulness that you are not mixed up with all those funny ideas and funny style of life where you go on criticizing, this is not good, I don't like it, I don't like it. Who are you? You don't know yourself. When you say, I don't like it, you are not knowing yourself. How do you know what you don't like? And I have seen people with very poor knowledge who are just knowing little bit here and there, are very critical of others. I don't know the reason why it is so, but maybe that they think no end of themselves. But this is what is very common. But if you know the absolute knowledge, then you become really humble, absolutely humble and sweet, gentle and kind. So, today is a great day, otherwise for me also, I didn't know that I'll survive so many years to see this beautiful day. Because, after all, it was very hard life according to other standards. But what is most joy-giving to me was creating Sahajogis and listening to them and talking to them. The way they were so sweet and so kind and so respectful. All this has helped me so much, and I must thank you for that. With your support, with your help, with your understanding, I could achieve it. If I could achieve it on my own, I would never have asked for this help of yours. But you are just like my hands. You are just like my eyes And I need you very much, because without you I cannot do it. It's like channelizing. Unless and until you have channels, what's the use of being Adi Shakti or anything? How will you channelize it? If there's electrical movement, we need channels. Otherwise, it is a static thing. In the same way, I felt always that I needed more and more channels. And when it worked out, I was really, really in a very great spirit. So I thank you very much again for this day that has come. And I bless you from my heart that now you take over responsibility. You are a Sahajogi, so you have a responsibility also to give realizations to others. Don't keep to yourself. This has to be given to others. And you can explain, you can talk to them, you can really very well understand. Try to understand them and talk to them. And you must give realizations to others. Otherwise, you won't feel complete. To feel complete, you have to do that. May God bless you all.
Children from 13 to 16. 30 children from 13 to 16, da 13 a 16 anni. Up to 18 years, fino a 18 anni.
नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हरतासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यं ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वमाम् अववक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवदातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्तात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरात्तात् अवदक्षिणात्तात् अवचोर्ध्वात्तात् अवाधरात्तात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात् त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वम् आनन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममया त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति त्वं भूमिरापो नलो नीलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यम् त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यम् त्वं ब्रह्मा त्वं विष्णु त्वं रुद्र त्वं इन्द्र त्वं अग्नि त्वं वायु त्वं सूर्य त्वं चन्द्रमा त्वं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्वरो घणादीं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादीं तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुलसितं तारेण हृद्यम् एतत्तव मनुस्वरूपं गकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्द्यरूपम् बिन्दुररुक्तरूपम् नादः सन्धानं संहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेशविद्या गणकर्षिः निच्रुद्गायत्री छन्दः गणपतिर्देवता ॐ गं गणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ती प्रचोदयात् एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं रदं च वरदं हस्तैर्बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणमच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादौ प्रकृते पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायन्ति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्ते अस्तु लम्बोदरायैकदन्ताय विघ्ननाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः। साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्षणमोऽस्तु ते गजानन।
कोटि निर्मला
नाशपाणि चक्रपाणि
कोटि सूर्यकोटि वज्रकोटि निर्मला
चित्रमाल भक्तिजालमालचन्द्रकोटितं कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्षणमोऽस्तु ते गजानन। रक्षणमोऽस्तु ते गजानन। नमोस्तुते गजानन भजे गणेशमीशनन्दनम् एकदन्तमग्रतुण्डनागजगसूत्रकम् शुभ्रवस्त्रमण्डितम् कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्षणमोऽस्तु ते गजानन चतुर्मुखं चतुर्भुजं सेवितं चतुर्युगं कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्षणमोऽस्तु ते गजानन सुखं भजे गणेशमीशनन्दनम् एकदन्तमग्रतुण्डनागजगसूत्रपात्रधूम्रनेत्रशुभ्रवस्त्रमण्डितं कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्षणमोऽस्तु ते गजानन नमोऽस्तु ते गजानन नमोऽस्तु ते गजानन
These are 108 names of Sri Raja Rajeshwari, who is a 108 names of Sri Raja Rajeshwari, So we are now going to worship our Param Pujya Shri Sahasrara Swamini Shri Mataji in her form as Shri Raja Rajeshwari, the one who is the ruler of the Sahasrara. These are all names of our mother in the form of the one who opens the Sahasrara. So I will read the English meaning and then the name, and then we can say Om Tvameva Sakshat. So the first name is Primordial Power, or Shri Adi Shakti. So Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mata Namo Namaha. The ultimate power, Shri Para Shakti. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Para Shakti Namo Namaha. The queen, she is the queen of the Sahasrara, Sahasrara Swamini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Sahasrara Swamini Namo Namaha. She is the queen of all the chakras, Sarva Chakra Swamini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sarva Chakra Swamini Namo Namaha. She is the queen of the creation. She is the creator. Brahmanda Swamini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahmanda Swamini Namo Namaha. Her son is Shri Ganesha, who resides in all the chakras. Sarva Chakra Putra Ganesha Sthita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sarva Chakra Putra Ganesha Sthita. Namo Namaha. She is above all the 7 chakras. Sat Chakropadhi Sansthita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sat Chakropadhi Sansthita. Namo Namaha. She is above the 5 Brahmas, expressing the ultimate state of reality. Pancha Brahmasana Sthita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Pancha Brahmasana Sthita. Namo Namaha. It is she who bestows the Nirvichara Samadhi, the power of silence, on all of us, on the whole universe. Nirvichara Samadhi, Vishwa Ugapini, Vyapini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirvichara Samadhi Vishwa Vyapini Namo Namaha. Her power is Parabrahma. Parabrahma Swamini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Parabrahma Swamini Namo Namaha. She is where all actions end up in pure knowledge. Turiya Sthiti Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Turiya Sthiti Daini Namo Namaha. It is she who gives, in her position as the queen of the Sahasrara, the torrential rain of Chaitanya, the Param Chaitanya Varshini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Param Chaitanya Varshini Namo Namaha. She is the first cause of all creation. Pratham Karanam. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Pratham Karanam Namo Namaha. She is the one who can only be approached with pure emotion. Satvik Bhavana Gamya. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Satvik Bhavana Gamya Namo Namaha. She is the great power of Sri Sadashiva, Mahashakti. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahashakti Namo Namaha. She rains the sweet essence of nectar, the Shuddha Surabhi Varshini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shuddha Surabhi Varshini Namo Namaha. She reveals the truth to us through cool vibrations. Satya Spandha Harsha Darshini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Satya Spandha Harsha Darshini Namo Namaha. All deities reside at her divine lotus feet. Sarva Devata Padmabhaja Sthite. Om Sameva Sakshat Shri Sarva Devata Padmabhuja Sthite Namo Namaha. She is the queen of Sarva, who is Lord Sadashiva. Shri Sarva Radhini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sarva Radhini Namo Namaha. She is the queen of Shankara. She is the Shankari. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shankari Namo Namaha. She is the queen of Shambhu, who is also Lord Shiva. She is Shambhavi. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shambhavi Namo Namaha. She stays in the space between the two thoughts. Vilambha Sthita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vilambha Sthita Namo Namaha. She resides in the 1,000-petal lotus in the Sahasrara, the Sahasradala Padmastita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sahasradala Padmastita Namo Namaha. The twice born find their natural home in the flowering forest of the Sahasrara. Ananda Prafula Vanavasi Dvija. Ananda Prafula Vanavasi Dvija. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ananda Prafula Vanavasi Dvija Namo Namaha. She is the hakikat, the reality, the energy of blissful truth. Satya Astitva. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Satya Astitva Namo Namaha. She is the crown, the light of the crown, the purest vessel of the Hebrew people. Shuddha Pavitrata Danapatra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shuddha Pavitrata Danapatra Namo Namaha. She fulfills the Old Testament and prophecy. She puts on the head graceful and glorious crown which she bestows on the seekers. The Mukuta Mani Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mukuta Mani Daini Namo Namaha. She embodies the Hebrew feminine divine principle, the final, and announces the final emancipation, announces the final emanation of God Almighty. Sampurna Pravahini. Om त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री संपूर्ण प्रवाहिनी नमो नमः. Queen of heaven, she is the one with stars over her head. Nakshatra tika mandita shubhavastra tarini. Om Tvamev Sakshat Shri Nakshatra tika mandita shubhavastra tarini namo namaha. She is the daisy of heaven. Her soothing petals fills our mind with cooling sensations and vibrations. Swargiya Pushpa Madhuri. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Swargiya Pushpa Madhuri Namo Namaha. It is said in the ancient scrolls that she, with her son Jesus, opened the seventh seal of the heavens. Yeshu Mata. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Yeshu Mata Namo Namaha. She grants the peace of the heavens, the silence of all the ages. Svarga Radhini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Svarga Radhini Namo Namaha. She rules over heavenly angelic beings, the cherubims and the seraphims, all the heavenly people who constantly sing her praise. Sarva Vishwa Samradhini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sarva Vishwa Samradhini Namo Namaha. Her domain is the Omega, the end point of evolution, spoken about by Lord Jesus Christ. Utkranti Antim Sthiti Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Utkranti Antima Sthiti Daini Namo Namaha. The holy bandhan is her symbol for the protection of Sahaj Yogis. Suraksha Bandhana Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Suraksha Bandhana Daini Namo Namaha. Shining like a pearl, all the colors of real rare stones are integrated into the bright light around her throne. Swarna Ratna Jadita Simhasana Sthita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Swarna Ratna Jadita Simhasina Sthita. Namo Namaha. From her throne only is the one religion revealed. Vishwa Nirmala Dharma Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishwa Nirmala Dharma Daini. Namo Namaha. She bestows the Gurupada to her devotees. Gurupada Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Gurupada Daini. Namo Namaha. She is the eternal witness to the Kiyama. Kiyama Sakshini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kiyama Sakshini. Namo Namaha. She is the royal home of the Ruh, the divine vibrations, the Divya Pavanadaini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Divya Pavanadaini. Namo Namaha. She is the mystical and majestic rose that never fades. Nitya Mahapushpa. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nitya Mahapushpa. Namo Namaha. She is the light of splendor in the crown of the seven heavens of Islam. Sapta Swarga Nur Jahan. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sapta Swarga Nur Jahan. Namo Namaha. She is the throne upon which Islam is established. Islam Simhasini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Islam Simhasini. Namo Namaha. She is the final lotus spoken of by the Prophet. Paigambari Sahasrara Kamala. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Paigambari Sahasrara Kamala. Namo Namaha. Sidrat al-Muntaha. This is the chakra of the seventh heaven of Islam. Sidrat al-Muntaha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sidrat al-Muntaha. Namo Namaha. She unites all the races in the golden light of her Sahasrara. Sarva Jati Swarna Prakashini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sarvajati Swarna Prakashini Namo Namaha. The timeless Shiva resides in her abode. Ananta Shiva Nivasa. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ananta Shiva Nivasa Namo Namaha. She is the great power that gives the victory to Shri Kalki. Shri Mahakalki Vijaya Shakti. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahakalki Vijaya Shakti Namo Namaha. She is the nurturing garden for the yogis. Shri Chitrakuta Suhasini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Chitrakuta Suhasini Namo Namaha. She has the 11 destroying powers of Shri Kalki when he is in the Sahasrara. Shri Kalki Ekadasha Shakti Sahasrara Swarupini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Ekadasha Shakti Sahasrara Swarupini Namo Namaha. Her Vahana, her vehicle, is the white horse of Shri Kalki, also known as the Burak in Islam. Shri Kalki Ashwa Vahana Maharagni. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Ashwa Vahana Maharagni Namo Namaha. She is the power of ascent of Shri Kalki. Shri Kalki Mahalakshmi. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Mahalakshmi Namo Namaha. At the Sahasrara, she gives the liberation to all the seekers. Shri Moksha Pradayini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Moksha Pradayini Namo Namaha. She allows every yogi to worship her lotus feet with their sahasraras. Shri Adi Shakti Kamala Charana Yogi Sahasrar Sharanadaini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Kamala Charana Yogi Sahasrara Sharanadayini Namo Namaha. Though bright like 1,000 suns, she bestows the cooling light, the soothing light of the divine vibrations. Sahasra Bhanu Sheetala Prakash Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sahasra Bhanu Sheetala Prakash Daini Namo Namaha. She is the one who merges the mind, the heart, the attention with the cooling flames of the Sahasrara. Shri Sheetala Agni, Shri Sheetala Agni, Mana, Hridaya, Chitta, Sangamakarini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sheetala Agni Mana Hridaya Chitta Sangama Karini Namo Namaha. She elevates human experience into the divine experience. Shri Divya Anubhava Daini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Divya Anubhava Daini Namo Namaha. She is the great power causing the divine dance of nature. Shri Prakruti Nritya Mahashakti. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Prakruti Nritya Mahashakti Namo Namaha. She is the center of the universe. Shri Brahmanda Madhyastha Nivasini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahmanda Madhyastha Nivasini Namo Namaha. She awakens the 7 chakras in the brain of the seeker. Shri Medha Sapta Chakra Jagruti Pradayini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Medha Sapta Chakra Jagruti Pradayini Namo Namaha. She is the one who grants the victory. She is the power of victory over all the challenges for the ascent. Shri Vijaya Lakshmi. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vijaya Lakshmi Namo Namaha. She is worshipped and she enlightens the limbic area which is embodied on the earth as the Sapta Shringa. Sapta Shringa Pujini. Om Tvameva Sapta Shri Saptashringi Pujini Namo Namaha. She is the source of Param Chaitanya, as she is the Ganges, and she is the source of the divine river. Shri Param Chaitanya Gangotri. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Parama Chaitanya Gangotri Namo Namaha. She is the goddess with the divine fire that enlightens all humanity. She is the Shri Devi Jwalamukhi Atma Sakshat Karini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Devi Jwalamukhi Atma Sakshat Karini Namo Namaha. She controls all the planets and using their power transforms humanity. Navagraha Swamini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Navagraha Swamini Namo Namaha. She is the protection from all challenges for our ascent. The Raksha Karini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Rakshakarini Namo Namaha. She is the mother of divine waters, Shri Nirmala Mata. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirmala Mata Namo Namaha. She is the center of the ocean of nectar. Shri Sudha Sagara Madhyastha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sudha Sagara Madhyastha Namo Namaha. She is in the center of the Sahasrara, like the orb of the moon. The Chandra Mandala Madhyaya. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Chandra Mandala Madhya Namo Namaha. She is luminous like the moon, the Chandra Nibha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Chandra Nibha Namo Namaha. It is she who is verily the doubtless awareness that brings the complete peace and salvation. Shri Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirvikalpa Samadhi Namo Namaha. All actions from her domain are pure, are dharmic. Dharmatita, Shri Dharmatita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Dharmatita Namo Namaha. She is beyond time, Shri Kalatit. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalatita Namo Namaha. She is beyond and she commands the three gunas. Shri Gunatita. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Gunatitaha Namo Namaha. She is the joy and auspiciousness at the summit of the Sahasrara in the form of Shri Mahakali. Shri Mahakali. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahakali Namo Namaha. She is the power and bestows the power on the yogis of pure attention and creativity of Shri Mahasaraswati, which is enlightened in the Sahasrara. Shri Mahasaraswati. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahasaraswati Namo Namaha. She is the power and bestows the power of the timeless presence of Shri Mahalakshmi, bringing us truth and self-realization at the Sahasrara. Shri Mahalakshmi. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahalakshmi Namo Namaha. She is the great illusion, the one who bestows good on humanity and destroys the evil. Shri Mahamaya. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahamaya Namo Namaha. Sakshat Shri Nidhi Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Shakti Data.
7 married ladies. 7 married ladies from hosting country.
Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Saravis Matare Gunagaye. Prema Pake Srata Sumana Charai. Prema Pake Srata Sumana Charai. Jai Satya Badana Kepali. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Mahamaya Mahagali. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Oh Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Oh Jai Jai Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Mahamaya Mahagali. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Mahamaya Mahagali. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama, oh Jai Jai Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama, Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Mahamaya Mahagali. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Mahamaya Mahagali. Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Oh Nirmalama. Tu e tu Pritapali Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Amaya Mahagali Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Oh Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Oh Jai Jai Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Amaya Mahagali Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Amaya Mahagali Dasharavali Bhavani Nirmalama. Oh Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama. Oh Jai Jai Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama.
Nirmalama. Mayama Kali Jachera Vali Bhavani Nirmalama Nirmalama Oh Nirmalama Oh Jai Nirmalama Oh Nirmalama Mayama Kali Jachera Vali Bhavani Nirmalama Nirmalama, Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama, oh Jai Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama, Nirmalama, oh Nirmalama, Mahamayama Kali Jachera Vali Bhavani Nirmalama, Mahamayama Kali Jachera Vali Bhavani Nirmalama.
तुझ्या पूजनी अर्चनी दीन भावे तुझ्या पूजनी अर्चनी दीन भावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझ्या दर्शनाला आम्ही रोषयावे तुझ्या मंदिरी इथं आम्ही म्हणावे तुझ्या दर्शनाला आम्ही रोषयावे तुझ्या मंदिरी इथं आम्ही म्हणावे तुझ्या कीर्तनी रात्री रागून जावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझ्या पूजनी अर्चनी दीन भावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे आम्हाला विसावा प्रपंचामध्ये तू आम्हा पाठी राखी भविष्यामध्ये तू आम्हा पाठी राखी भविष्यामध्ये तू तुझ्या चरणाचे आम्ही दास व्हावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझ्या पूजने अर्चने नवावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तू वाढाविला मुक्तीचा मार्ग आम्हा तू वाढाविला भक्तीचा स्वर्ग तू वाढाविला भक्तीचा मार्ग आम्हा तू वाढाविला भक्तीचा स्वर्ग आम्हा तुझ्या कीर्तीचे गोडवे नित्य गावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझ्या पूजनी अर्चनी निरवावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे तुझे निर्मला नाम आम्ही स्मरावे
आ, आ,
सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ब्रह्मरूपे सदानन्दे परमानन्द स्वरूपिणी रिद्धि सिद्धि प्रदे देवी नारायणी शरणागत 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 दीनार्थ परित्राण परायणे सर्वस्वार्थी हरे नारायणी नमो। विश्ववंदिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता विश्ववंदिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता
स्वरूपिणी
सुपदां वरदां नमो नमः। विश्ववंदिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता नमो नमः विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता निर्गुणा सिद्धि की दात्री है सौम्या सरला महामना पातांजलि गुण पात्री है शुभदां वरदां नमो नमः विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता ब्रह्मस्वरूपी शुभदां वरदां नमो नमः विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, हृदय में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। कितने मिले अवतार माँ, कितने मिले अवतार, विश्व में तेरी महिमा, विश्व में तेरी महिमा। तू गंगा यमुना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सुख ही मिला उसको माँ, सुख ही मिला उसको, बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, लगे ना जाना, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। माँ कर दिया उजियारा, माया है कलयुग में माया है, फिर भी पे जाना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। भारत माता इस धरती पर आके से दूर करना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। माँ मधु संगीत सुन लो, होय सके जो सेवा, होय सके जो सेवा, हमसे करा लेना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, माँ, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्रीकलकी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्रीकलकी साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। बोलो श्री भगवती माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी की
बोलो श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्षप्रदायिनी की
150 years, we can see that the civilization of man has accelerated with tremendous speed. And we have moved in such short time from the age of agriculture through the age of industry into what we call now the age of information and globalization. And while many people will say that we have reached the epitome of civilization, we still find that most of the aspects of civilization and most of the human institutions are actually polluted with adharma. They are totally devoid of moral values. They are totally concentrated on money making, profit making, and they are power oriented. And everything has been surrendered to a global market which is totally materialistic, and nobody knows where the future will go. And nobody has any vision, and civilization at this point is without any perspective, and most of all, without any guidance, Shrimataji. So we have found it appropriate to present to you 21 selected human institutions which altogether represent the modern civilization of man. And we would like to offer all these institutions to your holy lotus feet at the beginning of a new millennium, at the cusp of a new Satya Yuga, of the golden age, for you to put your attention on these institutions, for you to bless them, for you to purify them, and for you to rule over civilization with your divine grace, Shrimataji. And we humbly ask you to guide civilization from chaos, from ignorance, into a new golden age, Shrimataji. So now we would like to call the 21 main activities, the 21 main human institutions to be brought and offered to your holy lotus feet, Shrimataji. Thank you very much. So the first institution is nature and environment. Everything that has to do with nature, we will offer that, please, if you come forward, to you, Shrimataji, for you to bless it and purify it. One by one, no, one by one. I call you one by one. The second institution is agriculture and farming, Shrimataji. The third institution is handcraft and workmanship. Then we come from nature to society, and we offer the institution of marriage and family to you, Shrimataji. Education and training. Profession and career. From society, we move forward to economy, and we offer to you economy and industry. Trade and service. Trade and service. The next one is transportation and distribution. Then we move to matters of government, politics and diplomacy. That was politics and diplomacy, Shrimataji.
The next one is military and police. Then we have law and civil service. Then we move to the spheres of culture and we offer to you art and entertainment. We surrender to you literature and film. And we ask your blessings and your purification for media and internet. The sixth group is progress, and we offer to you the institution of research and invention. Research and invention. The next one is science and technology. Medicine and pharmacy. The last group, the group of Dharma, we offer to you, and of course we know that everything will melt into the Vishva Nirmala Dharma. We offer to you religion and philosophy. We surrender to you development aid and the United Nations activities. And the last one, Shri Mataji, is charity and welfare.
Bolo Shri Jagan Mata Adi Shakti Shri Nirmala Devi ki! Shri Nirmala Devi ki! Shri Nirmala Devi ki!
I think now each of you can take your stuff and go down. Take any one and just go down the staircase, and we'll put them outside. Yeah. That was the thing.
Shri Mataji, there is nothing to say for your 30th birthday of Sahasrara opening after the praises of this puja, Shri Mataji. The only thing that comes to mind is that you said often that in English people say thank you all the time and too often, but this is really a time where we all would like to say thank you, Shri Mataji, because that's really the only thing we can say at this stage. You are Trigunatmika, so we might imagine after 30 years that for 10 years you cleaned the labyrinth of our collective subconscious, which was probably very much connected with hell. And then in sort of 10 more years, you try to bring some moisture to our dried out right side, which is now warming the planet with climate change and rising sea level and desertification, because nature follow our heated. So we brought our temperature, at least human beings are starting to cool down. And then 10 years for the Central Channel, Shri Mataji, where you taught us finally how to meditate and introspect, which is the only way to grow. And so now we are filled with such tremendous gratitude, but also joyful expectations. while all these movements will continue, we know that there is no end to your vision and no end to your divine imagination. And our prayer, Shri Mataji, please take us into your dream, take us into your vision that we may beam like sunlight through the clouds. And please, Shri Mataji, take us wherever in your magnificent, artistic, creative compassion, wherever you wish to take us, Shri Mataji. Let us be worthy of this journey, for which we still have tremendous expectations, Shri Mataji, because we know that you have granted success to Sahaja Yoga already. And we pray at your lotus feet that we might do justice to Sahaja Yoga. Jai Shri Mataji.
It was really a wonderful idea to put my attention to all these fields of life, which are very important. And as it is, I have attention on all of them, and I care for all that. But I would say now you all people put in your attention to it, because it is you who can do something about it. You can start with the nature, as they said, is we have to be kind to the nature. We are having such problems, people are cutting out trees, doing all these kinds of things, without even thinking that this is for the progeny will become a desert. So in the same way, for everything, for your fruits and agriculture, vibrations can really change. We had in our garden, you won't believe, a peony flower just like this, even bigger than this, very bigger. We have never seen such a flower. We had also the tulips, so big as that. I haven't seen such tulips in my life. With vibrations, you can improve everywhere. Say you go and see some politician, let's see, or some political party. Then you use your hands and give them bandhans all the time. You can sit on the table across, and under the table you go on giving them bandhan. You have powers, but if you don't use your powers, then it is useless. If you just go on thinking about building up yourself and looking after yourself, now those days are gone. Now you have to look after other things, and I was very much happy with all the things that they have shown, and all my attention is already there. But if few people also put your attention, as you know, I have already purchased 7 big lands, 50 to 60 acres of lands in Maharashtra for different projects, and these projects have started. Now in Delhi also we have a very huge big plan to put the women who are destitutes. First on the social level we have to do something, I thought. So it's all done. Now we have started a school, we have started an academy again, we are going to have another academy, and also teaching young people with vocational knowledge and all that. India has, that way, is not so progressed as you people are in these things. But there's one thing very great about India is that because of our culture maybe, because of our Indian style of life, of respect, people have become very well equipped for the software, you see, this kind of thing. They are very intelligent, and software, because their attention penetrates. So if you also penetrate your attention, I mean, you can achieve the same, you are higher than them. But because they have been brought up in that culture, they are very intelligent, but their attention is not spread out. It is not. It is just on one point, and they penetrate very well, and they are doing so well now that a day will come when India will become one of the most prosperous country. So this is what has to happen. That firstly, our culture has to be brought round to such a state that the children get all the positive ideas and a good character and proper building with love, affection, but not to spoil them, not to spoil them. They should be brought up in such a manner that they develop a proper view of the whole thing, and also they have penetration of their attention. But if you go on changing your attention all the time, the inside is finished, because you see, attention gets broken. So this penetration of attention has to be seen. Say for example, you look at some tree, then just watch it with love. See what the tree is talking to you, what is she saying? You're looking at a mountain. Then just talk to the mountain and see what the mountain is saying to you. Put your attention in completely on one thing and see for yourself. That will help you a lot. But if you have an attention which is all the time watching this, watching that, this, that, and criticizing is another way you miss out on attention. Lots of attention goes to this. Thirdly, could be as I said, is self-importance. It's the worst thing. In that, then you do not think anything is important, you just go on looking after your self-importance. There are so many ways, but the best way is to learn how to handle your own attention and how to handle other people. That's very important. How you deal with people is very important for a Sahaja Yogi. You see, if you deal in a proper way, in a decent manner, in a way that's congenial, that's appreciative, then you will find so many friends and they will try to find out how are you like this? How are you so peaceful? How are you so kind? Why are you not agitated like others are? So in your own lifestyle you can establish it, but when you are dealing with others, what I'm saying, that the social relations with others is very important. Now at what level you should start, I can't say. It depends on your temperament and aptitude. But whichever of these areas that you think is important, you can just try to find out what is the solution. How can you help it? How can you work it out? All of you can do it. It is not that you have to develop a kind of a party to fight anything, but to have your own attention, you will know the solutions of many problems. Many problems can be solved if you find out the solution. But a solution you can find with your concentration of mind. That is very important. And if you can really do that, all these problems that you face today in those different fields of life can be easily solved. It's not so difficult. Family life, as you said, can be solved depending on the wife and depending on the husband and their relationship. It's very simple. But somehow or other, our background is such, I think, that we don't understand simple things. We only understand complicated things. In a simple way, if you deal with people at different levels, in these different aspects of life, you will be amazed. You will be very much popular. People will want to know what sort of a thing it is. I'll tell you one gentleman, his name was Mr. Dhumali, he's no more, they know him. He was in the village, he was looking after his fields and things, he was like a farmer. And somehow he got realization in Pune. After getting realization in Pune, he went to his own place and he started Sahaja Yoga there. And he started giving them realization, this and that. And it was surprising because he never came as such to me, or he never came to Pune. And suddenly he developed that, you see, mind of concentration. And the people told me, Mother, he's got so many Sahaja Yogis. He has developed it with such understanding. And when I went there, I was surprised that we had more Sahajogis there than we had in Pune. Well, in Pune there were Sahajogis who were doing the work. But this one single fellow had changed the whole idea of people in Ahmednagar and Rahuri. Very surprising it was that he was just a simple man and a farmer type. And then he started using vibrations for his activities and things. And it was so remarkable that actually he was, as I said, not very educated on that. But we always went and stayed in his house, and we were really enamored by the way he tried to express his spirituality to others. In the same way, all of you can do it. Now, what I have seen that we are very shy about Sahaja. Once I was traveling in the plane and there was one lady sitting with her, burning absolutely. So I asked her, who is your guru? And she went into another realm of describing the guru is like this. I know the guru is horrible force, horrible false person, horrible. But she was praising him so much. Without knowing much about me, she was just going on, and I said, look at this woman, how much she's talking about her guru. While we are little shy to talk about Sahaja. First start talking to the trees about Sahaja, maybe. You practice it that way, and then you can start talking to others about Sahaja. You can work it out. You have to do it. Anybody who meets you should see you, ask you, because it will be quite evident from your face, from your behavior that you are a different person. But then you should start talking openly about it. If I was shy like you, Sahaja would not have spread. So there's nothing to be shy about. You should just know that you are Sahajogis, you are all Sufis, and you can talk to people openly, to all the people whom you meet. Gradually you'll be surprised that they will see your character, they will see your nature and change. Like this Dhumal. Once he went to an office and he had to get some work done. And there he started telling them, I want to do this. He was so peaceful and joyful that they asked him from what mill do you get your food? You see, they couldn't understand that how could he be so quiet and so honest and so very penetrating. And that gave him all the popularity in that office. It's collector's office. And so many people came and asked him. And he told that I am a follower of Sri Mataji and I am a Sahajogi and you all can become Sahajogi. They said, all right, we'll also become. Like that. So one should not feel shy about Sahaja. Otherwise, what happens? That it melts away with you. So this is, I have been telling and again, all these things that you have said is very good. My attention is there and I am the only woman in the whole world must be reading all the newspapers. Normally women don't read newspapers because they are headaches. But I read newspapers and I try to follow and I get to the right point, and it's quite in my mind about these things. But only person, you see, cannot do it alone. You have to have others who can channelize this. So I would say that don't feel shy. You should talk about it. You wear the badge. With the badge, people will ask you a question, who is this one? Then you talk to them. Any way you like, you should expose yourself, and that will work out better. All these problems can be solved by you. You are quite a lot of number here and also representing so many behind. So you can understand what is your personality is and how much you can impress people. All right? Thank you.
So our elders, the world leaders, are now, on behalf of the whole Sahaj world, offering the international present to Shri Mataji. And from the
From the host countries, we have now the national present. So this is Austria, Germany, Hungary. Czechoslovakia, Slovenia.